By default, the light on the side of the 8-pin small mirrors on Ford F-150 trucks 2015 to 2019 is a turn signal only as showed here. If you'd like this light to be a running light and turn signal, please follow this installation video provided by Boost Auto Parts. To get all the parts and accessories shown in this video, as well as other parts and accessories for your Ford F-150, check out our website at boostautoparts.com. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove this trim piece over the mirrors. You can just use a trim tool or your hands, it'll just pop right off. Then you just go ahead and unplug the mirror connector. There's just a latch on the side, it'll unplug. And we'll go ahead and remove this dust cover over the door grab. Start in the front and then just work your way towards the back with the trim tool. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this trim cover right underneath the door handle. Now we'll go ahead and remove those two 7mm bolts behind the door grab. And we'll go ahead and remove the two 7mm bolts down behind that dust cover. Then we'll go ahead and remove the two 7mm bolts at the bottom of the door panel. Now we'll just go ahead and remove this last 7mm bolt right up here. And now using a trim tool, we'll go ahead and release the clips on the door panel. It's usually easiest to start in one of the corners, so we'll just work our way around the door panel. Then you'll just go ahead and lift the door panel straight off, making sure you clear the lock lever. Now we'll go ahead and remove any connectors that are plugged into the door panel. And then for the door handle, you're going to go ahead and depress this tab straight at the bottom and then pull the lever straight back away from you, and that will release the door cable. And you can just go ahead and remove the door panel and set that off to the side. Now what we need to do is go ahead and cut the wire going to pin 7 a couple inches back. On the driver's side, this is likely a green wire with brown stripe, and on the passenger side, it's likely a blue with gray, but wire color may vary, so you want to go off pin location as primary reference. Pin 7 is located in the bottom row, one over from the right, and we're going to cut it a couple inches back. Now we're just going to go ahead and strip both sides. Now included in this kit is going to be a module and a wiring harness. You're going to want to go ahead and plug the connector for the wiring harness into the module provided by Boost Auto Parts. Now the orientation of the module provided by Boost Auto Parts is very critical. The side with the one orange wire is the output, which needs to face up towards the connector that plugs into the mirror. The short end that leads up to the connector is going to go into the single orange output. So we're going to go ahead and place that into the butt connector, and then we'll go ahead and crimp it down. Now on the side of the wiring harness with 3 wires, there will be one blue wire with a butt connector on it. You're going to go ahead and take the wire coming out of the door harness itself that you stripped and go ahead and place it into the butt connector on the blue wire. And you'll just go ahead and crimp that down. Now we'll just go ahead and heat shrink those 2 butt connectors. Now included in the kit from Boost Auto Parts should be a T-tap connector. You're going to go ahead and place that onto pin 8, which on the driver's side is likely a solid black wire, and on the passenger side it's likely a black wire with white tracer, but again you want to go off pin location as primary reference. These connectors are labeled, so just go ahead and locate the slot that's labeled pin 8. And go ahead and place the T-tap onto the wire. You want to put the wire into the metal jaw and just squeeze it until it clicks. Now we're going to go ahead and take the black wire from the Boost Auto Parts wiring harness and plug it into the T-tap. You want to make sure that the metal from the disconnect slides directly into the middle of the T-tap and that the disconnect slides all the way forward. Now you're going to take the long orange wire with the terminal on the end of it provided by Boost Auto Parts and run it straight behind the door module where the original harness ran. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this boot straight down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut a small slit just to the left of the main wires in this boot here. We're going to go ahead and pass the orange wire with the terminal on the end of it through that hole we just cut and pull all of our slack straight on through. We're reaching our arm in straight over from over here, and there's going to be a trim clip on the door harness straight up, clipping up straight over into here. So you're going to reach your arm in, you're going to go ahead and release that. So you should just be able to pull it out, so we'll kind of show you right here. That's going to be the trim clip we just released. Now we need to go ahead and release this side of the door boot. You can just use your hand, it's just a grommet style, so you should just be able to work it out. Now for the door harness where it connects to the truck, there's going to be a zip tie. We're just going to go ahead and take some side cutters and cut that. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this boot. You should just be able to pull it straight back. Now I just want to remove the door harness from the door jamb area. There's going to be 2 clips on the top that you're going to depress, as well as 1 on the bottom to remove it. And we'll just go ahead and unplug the gray and black connectors. And we're just going to go ahead and pull the door harness straight on down. That way we can get access to work with it. Now we're going to take the end of the orange wire and tape it to a sturdy metal piece. In this case, we're using a straightened out coat hanger. You're going to go ahead and take that, and you're going to go ahead and run it from this boot straight up over to here. Now if you have tape over at the end of the door boot, you will need to untape it, that way you can enter the wire, so we'll just go ahead and untape this. If we're getting it through this last area of the boot here, it's actually going to be easier to pull the wires rather than push. So we're just going to go ahead and put our metal rod straight through the boot here. And we'll just go ahead and tape our orange wire to the end of the coat hanger here. You'll just go ahead and pull your coat hanger back on through, guiding the orange wire straight through it. Now with this door jamb connector here, we're going to be working with the one the gray connector originally plugged into. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and unlock this white lock here. So you just press down on the sides. There's a white lock on both sides of the connector, and that will release the lock. So you can see we have that lock released. Now when inserting these pins, the orientation is really important. It'll only go in one way. They need to be inserted like this with the crimp facing down. So now on the driver's side, we're going to be placing it into pin B11, which again is right here in the top left-hand corner. All these pin locations are labeled, so make sure you're going off pin location. So on the driver's side, it's going to go into position B11, and on the passenger side, it's going to go into position B8. So going with the crimp facing down, we're going to go ahead and insert the wire. You should feel it kind of latch into place. Then we'll just go ahead and press this white lock back down and lock it into place. Then we'll just go ahead and put the rubber boot back over the door jamb connector. Then we'll go ahead and install the new zip tie provided by Boost Auto Parts. And then once that's tight, you'll just go ahead and cut the excess off. We'll just go ahead and take our door harness and put it straight back up on the inside. And we'll just go ahead and plug back in the connectors. The black one goes on the bottom and the gray one goes on the top. We'll just go ahead and snap that door jamb connector back into place. Then we'll just go ahead and place this lower boot back into position. It's just a grommet style, so you just kind of work your hand around it. And we'll just go ahead and work this bottom boot back into position. Then you just want to reach your hand back in near the window. Go ahead and clip back in that clip that was holding the harness into the side of the door. Now we'll go ahead and reinstall our door panel. We'll start by reconnecting the door cable. You'll latch it at the top and then slide it forward. I'll just go ahead and plug back in any connectors we removed. Now while you're installing this door panel, you want to make sure the orange wire you ran follows the path of the OEM harness and is clear of the door panel when installing it. Then we'll just go ahead and reinstall the door panel, making sure the lock lever comes through the hole in the door panel. And then we'll go ahead and just clip some of those body trim clips back into place. We'll go ahead and replace the 7mm up top. We'll go ahead and replace the 2 7mm right behind the door grab. Then we'll just go ahead and replace the 2 7mm bolts that were behind that little trim cover. And we'll replace the 2 7mm straight down at the bottom of the door. Now for the door grab trim cover, you're going to want to go ahead and latch the one end with the latch straight back, and then you'll go ahead and snap it all into place. Clip should retain it. And with this dust cover, you can see there's some latches. Those are going to go down towards the bottom, so we'll go ahead and latch that into place and then snap it into position. Finally, we'll just go ahead and plug back in the connector. Then you're just going to go ahead and tuck all your wires up nicely, making sure they're clear of the bolts and the trim pieces, and then you're just going to go ahead and snap this last trim piece in. And just like that, your installation is complete. Now, anytime your running lights are on, your side mirrors will also illuminate, and if the turn signals turn on, they will flash until your turn is complete, and it will return to a solid running light. During the daytime, the light will not illuminate unless you manually turn your lights on. However, when you turn your turn signal on, the mirrors will flash just like so. To get all the parts shown in this video, as well as other parts and accessories for your truck or SUV, check us out at boostautoparts.com.